Hi everyone, it's Katie, and today's class we're going to focus on opening the heart. So as a reminder, you're going to need a block or two, and if you don't have a yoga block, you can just use a couple of thick books. And also have handy a blanket that we're going to be rolling lengthwise. And if you don't have a blanket, you can use a towel. And actually, an extra yoga mat will also work for what we need later. So grab those things if you don't have them. And then just as a reminder, as always, to please listen to your own body. Every day we wake up with different things going on, right? Every day is different, whether it's a past injury or something new, or just, just a tension that you weren't aware of before. Please do what you need to do, modify the postures as you see fit. And really just listen to yourself today. Okay, so before we begin our practice, just a couple things that I've been thinking of. I don't know about you guys, but with the heaviness in the world right now, the events in the world, in our communities, and even in our own hearts, right? There's just a lot to deal with. And usually in our class, we do a lot of self-observation and self-nurturing and making sure we get the me time that we need, which is really important. However, I thought this little, not like a light bulb, but a memory popped back into my mind about how sometimes to get out of a funk, we do for others. And I've been reading, there's a lot of scientific studies that actually prove when you volunteer your time and you give to someone else, it literally changes your health, right? It increases your life expectancy, reduces your blood pressure and things like that. So I'd like to, use our yoga practice today to open the heart and to use our yoga tools, but just to think about, maybe the ways in your own life when you're not on your yoga mat that you can do one little thing that might help you by helping someone else. I mean, it doesn't have to be a huge event, it doesn't have to be, dedicating your time or donating, but it could just be a simple smile to someone or a silent prayer in your heart. So however you want to do that, that is up to you. But I'm going to help us, encourage us today to get into this heart center so that we can just feel and be present and not close ourselves off. So thank you for listening. So let's go ahead and close your eyes now. Now with eyes closed, check in physically, head to toe. Just notice what's going on with you today. No judgments, no attachments, just check. And then from there, checking in on your intellectual body, your mind and your thoughts, and just noticing where they are. Again, no attachments or judgments. And lastly, to our heart center, where we're going to focus on today. What are you feeling emotionally at your heart? And now once you've checked in on those three bodies, eyes are still closed. I want you to take your hands at heart center in Anjali Mudra. And if possible, touching the thumbs or the knuckles of the thumbs right to your sternum. And begin to notice your breath. With your eyes closed, hands at heart. Notice the flow in and out of the nose. Begin to deepen the breath if you haven't already. So slow and smooth breath, nice and deep, without force. It should feel natural to increase this breath little by little. We're going to add a little visualization, a little meditation, if you will, to this breath at our heart. So when you're ready, keep breathing slowly and deeply, but I want you to now just rub your hands together, creating some heat and some energy. And once you feel a little energy, a little warmth there, go ahead and place your right hand over your heart and then your left hand over the right hand. Breathe into your heart and see a green glowing light at your heart center. Feel the flow of loving energy from your heart going out into your body towards your arms, flowing down your arms into your own hands, and in turn right back into your heart. Just for a few moments, see this happen as you deepen your breath, your heart energy refilling you. And then with eyes still closed, take those hands face up on your lap. That your palms are open. That same heart energy, see it flowing down your hands, out of your palms into the world. There is enough love, right? You have enough love for yourself and for the whole world. When you're ready, resting your hands, and you can open your eyes. Noticing how you feel and beginning to start our asana practice. I want you to just take your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. So get those shoulder rolls going. I'll move to my mat while you keep rolling those shoulders. Right, so a few more shoulder rolls, forward, up, back, and down. And then from here, relaxing those shoulders all the way down, we're going to interlace the hands above the head. Then turn those palms face up, drawing your shoulder blades down your back, gently pulling your low ribs in. Right, and see how this feels. Everyone's different. You move where you need to go, where your shoulders say it feels okay. If you're okay here, I want you to lean over to one side. So really stretching through that opposite rib cage and armpit, even the sides of your waist. But rooting down through both sitting bones still, right? Breathe deep. Opening, opening. Next inhale takes you center, and next exhale to the other side. Right? It's okay to have a soft bend in the elbow. Listen to your body. Try not to lock the elbows. Big inhale takes you up to the center, and then relaxing your arms down by your sides. All right, perfect. We're going to work a little cat-cow with arms. Call them angel wings. I want you to sweep your arms back behind you with palms forward, thumbs up. So your arms are about a 45-degree angle away from your body behind you, right? So you feel a lift in the heart, a little bit of a back bend in that thoracic spine, right? Heart is lifted, tailbone, or pelvis rather, tilting forward. This is our inhale breath. On your exhale breath, I want you to tuck your tail, round your back, take your palms up in front of you 45 degrees and drop your chin. So inhale, opposite movement, arms fall behind you, lift that heart up. And then exhale, tuck it all in. Inhale, tipping pelvis forward, arms fall back. Exhale, tucking tail under. Go ahead and do one more at your own pace. When you finish that last curve in the spine, come back to sit nice and tall, arms by your side. So if you've been sitting cross-legged for a while, go ahead and switch which leg is in front and which leg is in back, just to balance out those hips and knees. Okay, and then from here, tall heart, check your spine, check your breath, it's still deep. And then we're just gonna gently twist to one side. So you're just gonna walk your hands over to one side. The back arm will come right behind your tailbone and the opposite arm rests on your knee or your thigh or wherever it feels comfortable. Heart lifts and belly button twists you toward that back arm. Right, so just closing the eyes in your twist and focus on your heart center. Feel the movement in the chest. by the lungs. Open those eyes, turn yourself back around to center. Perfect. Let's try the other side, right? So we're walking our hands over to the opposite side. Right, don't go crazy at the beginning of class. We go a little bit shallow and then eventually you can deepen. So heart is lifting and then twist that belly button toward that side, kind of like a ripple effect in your spine, starting at the belly button all the way up. Head is just floating, right? Don't strain the neck to look over the shoulder, just gently relax. And the next inhale takes you back to the middle. Take a breath once you get to the middle. And then from here, I want you to take the soles of the feet together in front of you. But instead of in a bound angle pose, you want to come out a little further. So you have a big diamond shape if you look down, right? Maintain that good posture, shoulders back, right? Belly's gently in. And then just want you to circle your upper body, right? So going to one side, to the front, to the other side, and to the back. About 3. When you're ready, I want you to switch, go the other way. All right, and then come back to center, everyone. You can keep the legs just as they are. And I want you to take your hands behind you with fingertips forward. So you're actually kind of supporting your weight a little bit on those hands. And then I want you to press into the hands, lift the heart as high as you can get it to go, shoulders back, a little bit of a back bend here. Stretching almost like from armpit to armpit, right across the front of your chest. Opening that heart a little bit more. And even focusing on the back of your heart as it's trying to pop through toward the front. All right, walk your hands forward, coming out of that mini back bend. We're gonna draw the knees together and come over to hands and knees. If you have sensitive knees, use a blanket under those knees to pad. So a little variation of child's pose today, everyone. If it's not going to work for you, you're going to come into regular child. So hips are sinking back. The knees are either tight together or wide apart, depending on your body. And then if you have your blocks, I'd like you to take them just beyond your head. You know, it doesn't really matter the angle you'll see when we come down. I want us to rest our forearms onto those blocks and let the head hang between the arms in our child's pose. If this is too much on your upper back or your shoulders, come into regular child's pose. But just allowing the breath to move your body and tune into your heart center. So in your child's pose, focus on your back heart. Right? The heart is not just the front of you. The entire organ. So just see it beating, see it opening in the back of the body as well. As you're ready, you'll take your hands flat on the mat, pushing yourself up. You can move your blocks out of your way. And then from here, come to your tabletop, hands and knees, right? Your hands are right under your shoulders, knees are right under your hips. We're gonna extend the left leg straight behind us, but keep the toes tucked under. Okay, so toes are tucked. You're gonna draw the left leg over to the right side of your mat. So you're pushing through that heel, so you feel a good stretch in the back of that left leg. And you can stay right here, or if you need a little extra, walk your hands over to the right as well, so that your spine is making a little bit of a C shape. Right, holding here, you can look at your right pinky finger, you can look at your back foot, but listen to your body and what it needs. Don't forget to press through that back heel. And then find the deep breath into your left ribs. All right, gang, walk your hands back under your shoulders. Drag that left foot in line with the hip and then knee under the hip. Take a breath in table. All right, just moving to the other side, we're gonna extend the right leg with toes tucked underneath on the mat. and drag the right leg over to the left side, however far you're comfortable, right? Your body's going to tell you. Right, so you're pressing through that heel, you feel the stretch in the calf, maybe in the hamstring. If it feels great, great. If you don't think you can handle much more, you just stay right here. But if you can handle more, your body will tell you, walk your hands over to the left. An inch, a foot, everyone's different, right? No judging, just feeling into the body. And how does this feel? And can you breathe as deep as you were before? All right, and from here, guys, we're gonna walk those hands under the shoulders. Drag that right leg back in and right knee under the hip. All right, and then from here, we're gonna move onto the belly. So if you could just shift your weight forward, right? Bend those elbows and lower down to the belly. We're gonna work a little bit of a cobra vinyasa here. So have the fronts of the pelvis digging into the floor, the tops of the feet pressing in, hands are by the armpits and the upper ribs. Your elbows pull in toward each other, right? Elongate your tail. And then your neck is long. Look down at your mat. Inhale, lift your heart off the mat with your back muscles. Doesn't have to be high. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, lifting that heart up. Exhale, lower back down. One more time, inhaling into a nice low cobra, using your back muscles. And then exhale, lower back down. Great. From here, I want you to uncurl or tuck those toes back under. Use your arm strength to push back up into a child's pose, table to child. Scooching back, stretching out that low back. Next inhale, rise you up to your table pose. Tuck your toes underneath. Find your first downward facing dog. We stretched out the back of the legs a little bit, but if they're still not stretched out all the way, go ahead and pedal your feet a little bit. And do whatever movements you need to in your downward facing dog. Right? Finding that perfect spot for you. Everybody's different. Belly's engaged. Kneecaps lifting, right? We're just peeking at our front ankles and see if there's a little crease. If there's a crease, maybe you want to lift the fronts of your legs a little bit more. And head heavy, right? Relax that head. We're going to take a peek forward to the front of the mat, and you're going to walk your feet all the way up to the front, finding a lazy ragdoll. Have those knees bent, upper body dangling. Lifting tailbone slightly. And then as you're ready, as slow as you need to, because we've been upside down for a while, we're going to start to roll up. So ground through those legs, engage the belly, and then just unravel your spine from the bottom to the top. Take your time, there's no rush. So just coming up to the front of your mat. Oh, great. All right, so finding your mountain pose. So just a couple sun breaths before we start our standing series. So on your inhale breath, sweep those arms up overhead. And on your exhale breath, dive down into your version of forward fold. On the next inhale, come halfway lift, hands up the shins, extend through the back. Exhale, fold into the legs. Inhale, reverse your swan, arms all the way overhead. And exhale, palms at heart center. So one more, guys. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, diving into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, refold. Inhale all the way back up, reversing that swan dive, bending the knees if you need to. Exhale, palms at heart. Okay. Inhale, we're going to sweep those arms back up. Exhale, diving down, forward fold. Inhale to your half lift. And then exhale, I want you to take the palms to the mat, bend those knees, and walk your feet to downward facing dog. All right, once you make it to down dog, I want you to lift your right leg way up to the sky behind you. We're gonna bend that right knee, flex the foot, protect the knee,
And then open the hip so the knee comes up toward the ceiling. Now go ahead and make teeny little circles with your knee. Work in the hip a little bit, or big circles if you prefer, and switch directions of your circles. And then when you're ready, you can close off the hip, look forward, and step the foot all the way up between the hands. We're going to go ahead and spin that back heel down and in so the back foot's about 45 degrees. And you're going to come up to stand. Big breath in so you don't get dizzy. Perfect. All right, so our legs are nice and wide. With those right toes facing the front of the mat, the left toes are turned in towards you as well, right? I'm going to start in triangle. Triangle is a great pose for heart opening. So arms are going to float parallel to the ground. Right, shoulder blades come together behind the back, belly's in. Legs are straight, not locked. Reach those right fingertips out in front of you. Create a big crease in that right hip, and then you're just going to tilt the arms. Right, so that right hand drops down, left arm comes up. You can use a block under the right hand if needed. You can hover the hand, or you can support yourself on your shin. Listen to your body and what it needs today, but keep the heart open and the joints stacked, those shoulders and hips. One more breath, triangle, Trikonasana. Ground through your back foot especially. Inhale yourself back up to stand. Let your back arm rest and flip your front palm up. We're going to bend that front knee, that right knee, whichever side you're on. Opening that hip, we're going to take that front arm up to the side of the face, but draw the shoulder down. Here we go. So this is a perfect little modified reverse warrior. If you need a little bit more, you're going to come into a back bend by sliding that back hand down without pressure in the leg. And everyone's different. You might go just an inch here, or you might go a foot. And every day is different. So what do you need? Tune into your heart center. Next, inhale, arms parallel. And then you're going to bend the front elbow, exhale it to the front thigh, back arm comes up, and if you're up for it, over into extended side angle. This is a modification with elbow in the thigh. If you're used to practicing with your fingertips toward the floor, go ahead. Breathing, stacking hips and shoulders. All right, friends, on the next inhale, come to warrior two for just a half breath. And then exhale, spiral the hands either side of the front foot. We're going to step the front foot to downward facing dog. If you need extra oomph today, go for it and take your vinyasa. If not, stay with me in down dog. And once everyone's in down dog, lift the left leg up to the sky behind you. Bend that left knee, flex the left foot. All right, go ahead, open that left hip where the knee comes up towards the ceiling and draw little circles. Circles other direction. And then closing off the hip, look forward, step that left foot all the way up to the front of your mat. Plant your right heel down and in, and inhale yourself up to your triangle. I'm gonna flip side so I can see you. So legs are wide and legs are straight. Without locking these knees, engage those quads. Arms are floating parallel. We're leaning out toward the left side this time. And just tilting, stacking shoulder joints, hip joints, listening to your knees. Strong legs and abs, everybody. Inhale yourself up, letting your back arm fall, lifting your front arm to the ceiling. Bend that left knee. Staying right here is perfectly fine, or gently leaning back, listening to your lower back. If you feel really crunched, come up. Tune into your heart again. All right, inhale, come up with the arms, bending the front elbow, leaning it to the front thigh, switching into our extended side angle pose. Again, if this is too much, go ahead and rest your arm on your body or come up out of it. Now, if it's not enough, you're welcome to sink that top arm down toward the floor, whichever version you want to do today. Draw that top shoulder down in its socket.
All right, ready, friends? Inhale yourself, warrior two. Exhale, hands either side of your front foot. We're gonna step the front foot to our downward dog. Again, if you need a plank vinyasa, be my guest. Okay, looking forward to the front of your mat, walking your feet up to the front of your mat. From your Uttanasana, I want you to press into the four corners of your feet, engage the quads, engage the belly, and start to roll yourself up like we did in the beginning of class, all the way to your mountain. Great. So coming all the way up to mountain, and as you find your Tadasana, I want you to close your eyes just momentarily to check on your breath. Check that it's still there. And then reopen your eyes. You're back in your mountain. From here at the front of your mat, we're going to step the left foot back to a high lunge. So you're on the ball of that back foot. And if you feel kind of wobbly, go ahead and inch your right foot over to the right a little bit. Have a wider base. Feel like the tailbone draws down, right? So you feel a stretch in that left hip flexor. And then from here, a little bit different today because we're focusing on the heart. I want you to take your right hand on your heart, then your left hand on your heart. So we're in a high lunge with hands at the heart. From here, everyone, shift your weight forward. So you're leaning out over that front thigh at a 45-degree angle, and you're going to draw your arms behind you with palms out and open, but still press a lot of weight in that back leg. We're going to move between these two poses for a vinyasa. So on your inhale breath, torso comes upright with hands on heart. And exhale, leaning out, flying through the air as the arms come behind you. Two more like that. Inhaling, covering your heart. Exhale, opening and flying. Last one. And then coming back up with hands on heart. Good. Draw your hands to your hips. We're going to pivot that back foot so that it is flat at 45 degrees or so. And we're going to straighten the front leg. We're coming into Parshvottanasana, a little pyramid pose. Legs are straight, not locked. Heart is lifted. We're going to fold forward at the hip hinges. We're actually going to stay up high with a flat back for now and not round the spine. So draw your tail away from your head. Length in the neck and just breathe. See what's happening in your legs and your feet. Where is the weight? Where can you balance yourself a little bit more? Breathe into that right hamstring, right calf. On the next inhale, I want you to lift your chest nice and high. Perfect. Keep breathing, just stepping that left foot to meet the right foot back to your Tadasana. All right, from here, everybody step your right foot back into lunge. So finding your version of your lunge where you feel stable, you feel some work going on as well. From here, we're taking hands over heart. Maybe you want to switch which hand was on top and underneath, or not, doesn't matter. All right, so feel like that back thigh is lifting, but front knee is lunging, tailbone drawing down and hips hugging toward each other. So you're safe in that pelvis. And then we're going to lean forward with arms behind us. Press through that back heel. And here comes our vinyasa, just 3 breaths. Inhale, hands at heart, torso upright. Exhale, fly out over that thigh. Inhaling up. And exhale, fly out. Pulling that belly up and in, even though it's over the thigh. Inhaling up. And exhaling, fly out. Last inhale up with hands at heart. And then I want you to flatten your back foot and straighten both legs. Hands at hips. Inhale, lift your heart nice and high. Exhale, fold at your hip hinges into our pyramid. Notice if your right hip is drawing back, if you can pull it gently forward.
And just feel that your belly is supporting you, right? As your body weighs all over that front leg. So definitely you need the belly and you need the weight in the back leg to even you out. And then forget about your alignment for a moment and just breathe into your heart. All right, pressing through both legs, inhale yourself up and step that back foot to meet the front foot. All right, so wherever you are on your mat, you might want to come to face one long side of the mat so that we can step the legs wide. So having the legs wide, toes are facing straight ahead. They could be even turned in very slightly, checking in on your ankle and see what feels best for your ankles and your knees. Wherever your legs are placed, your feet are placed, you still have mountain pose alignment, right? That tailbone drawing down, spine is as long as it can get, shoulders are back. We're gonna add a little variation to our standing fan pose today. So you're gonna interlace your hands behind your back. Soft elbows, right? Knees are straight but not locked. So you can even have a bend in those knees. I want you to feel how tall your spine is as you start to hinge forward at your hips. And you can stay up nice and tall with a flat back. Or you can go ahead and round the spine, starting with the base of the spine, as far as you can go down to fold and then rounding. If this doesn't feel right, of course, you could take your hands for support or come up. But if you're okay here, let the head drop. Right, relax the neck, engage the legs. And if it feels okay, we're gonna add a shoulder stretch. These interlaced hands come away from your back. An inch, a foot, everyone's different. Breathe deep. You're gonna let those hands make their way to the small of your back. We're gonna uninterlace the fingers and let the arms slide down the legs. Go ahead and let the hands slide down. You can come underneath you for support. Everybody engage the legs if you forgot, or put a soft bend in the knee. We're gonna start to roll up. You've gotta go extremely slow here. Very, very slow so you don't get dizzy. Rolling from the bottom spine to the top spine. Great, and once you've made it all the way to the top, we'll just heel toe those feet back in. All right. We've got one more standing pose before we make our way down to the mat. We're gonna do a little Natarajasana dancer pose. If you've got a wall near you, nice and handy, a chair, a couch, wherever you are practicing in your house right now, just in case you need it for balance. So wherever you are on your mat, I'm gonna face the side. I'm gonna take the weight into the left leg strong, right? Mountain pose alignment, of course. We're gonna soften the right knee and grab hold of the right ankle behind you with your right hand. Now, there's nothing wrong with holding the outside of the ankle. It decreases shoulder mobility, right? So I like to grab the inside of the ankle. And then from here, knees together. We'll draw the opposite arm up to the sky. Or hold on to the wall if you need to, right? All right, so with your knees together, your right knee is gonna draw a line straight back behind you. Maybe it's an inch, maybe it's 3 inches. Everyone's different. So it's a back bending pose, opening your heart, kick your foot into your hands, find a focal point. Right, don't look at me, look at something in front of you that's not moving. It's a hip closed pose, so try and keep those hips closed. And as you're ready, wobbling is normal, right? You're gonna start to come out of your dancer back to mountain. And just close your eyes for a moment. I want you to feel into your feet, feel into your legs, and notice the difference. Draw your breath into those tight muscles that we're gripping. And then reopen your eyes. And we'll do the other side. So when you're ready, you're gonna ground now through the right leg. Really strong. You'll bend the left knee, grab the inner or outer ankle, draw the knees together. Draw your tailbone down, lift your opposite arm up to the ceiling. Look at your focal point, everyone. And then when you're ready, draw that straight line with that left knee straight back. Every day is different. Sometimes our balance is on, sometimes it's off. No judgment. We are perfect today. As you're ready, start to work your way back out of dancer to your Tadasana. And falling to the walls, perfectly fine. Finding your mountain pose. All right, one more standing pose here. Just gonna release that. So I want you to soften your knees, find your hip hinges, and you're just gonna fall over your legs into a nice lazy forward fold. Find your breath. Let all your worries fall out of your body, right? Let them roll down to the top of your head and fall onto your mat. And then if it feels okay, you're just gonna bend those knees, lifting the heels up, coming into a nice little squat here. All right, and then we're gonna come to hands and knees. So wherever you are on your mat, just tip forward. If you are not facing the front, go ahead and come around to face the front of the mat on the hands and the knees. From here, we're gonna do a little thread the needle pose. So if you could take your right hand, I want you to take it palm face up under your left armpit. Now draw that right shoulder to the floor and the right side of your face. This left arm can extend out in front of your mat. You could also sweep the left arm behind you, bending at the elbow. So whatever feels best for you today. If you've got some pain going on, I know I had a little kink in my rib, I need to come out and go back in. But if you're feeling okay in the shoulder and the neck, you're fine. If you're not feeling okay, you shouldn't be here. Please listen to your body. All right, friends, you're gonna press that left hand into your mat so you can come up into table pose. And just doing the other side, right? So left arm threads underneath the right armpit, left shoulder to the mat, left side of the face to the mat. Right arm can extend out, or it can bend at the elbow and drape behind your back. Now press the right hand into the mat, come back up to table. You're already kneeling, I want you to come to a high kneel. So walk your hands back. Use a blanket for my knees. I'm gonna do a gentle camel. Okay, so we're up in a high kneel position. I want you to take your hands to your lower back. Fingers pointing down. If you have wrist issues, if not, you can go ahead and point those fingers up. It's a little bit more supportive, but it's more extreme on the wrist. So pick what works for you. Right? Draw your tail down, and you're really finding mountain pose here on your knees, right? So keep your hips aligned over your knees. Imagine a giant beach ball behind your back. We're gonna lift the heart up forward, actually. Lift your heart forward and up, and then lean back slightly. So it literally could be a half an inch, right? Everyone's different, or you could go a little deeper. Wherever you are is perfect. Just breathe. And very slowly come back up, releasing your hands. And then we'll move into child's pose to release. So go ahead and sit that seat back on your feet and walk your hands forward. Coming into your child's pose, resting your forehead. If your forehead doesn't touch, go ahead and grab your block. You can also rest it on the block. And then from here, lift your torso up so you're kneeling. I'm gonna come face you here. Your toes can be tucked, untucked, doesn't matter. And if this is too intense on your knees or your ankles, feel free to come sit. I'm just gonna do some neck stretches here. So mountain pose alignment in the spine, we're gonna extend that cervical spine really tall, feel your neck really long, and then drop one ear to one shoulder. Mindfulness in that side of your neck that's getting stretched. What does it need? Does it need more? Is it too much? Find the perfect spot for your neck. All right, lifting the head, and let's do the other side, right? So just extending and dropping that ear toward the opposite shoulder. Inhale, we're gonna lift the head back on top of the spine. And now chin to chest. Check your shoulders are still rolling back and down. Your heart is lifting, even though your chin is dropping forward. All right, lifting the head back on top of the spine. All right, now it's time where you're gonna need that blanket that I mentioned in the beginning of class. Okay, so you're gonna grab your blanket. And we're gonna roll this blanket up, and it really depends on you, the thickness of your roll. I'm going to roll it probably at least halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way. My blanket here, and I'm gonna place it on my mat with enough room for your head. This is gonna be going underneath our back, right around like the bra line, underneath the shoulders. So there's lots of variations of back bending over support. But for this one, I kind of want the tops of our shoulders to rest on the floor. So go ahead and sit in front of your support and just lay back. So find that perfect spot for you where you can still rest your arms out by your sides and have the top of the back on the mat. Sometimes it's nice if the support is in your way to cactus your arms, and that's perfectly fine. So just find the spot for you. We're opening our heart. Close the eyes once you're situated. And just feel the expansion in the front rib cage. Right? Feel the breath move your body. Taking a few more breaths here. And as you're ready, if you want to bend your knees with your feet on the floor, and we're just going to roll off to the side of our prop. Push yourself up so that you can remove the blanket out of your way. So we're all set with the blanket. Yeah, I'm going to have you roll back down onto your back. And then go ahead and bring both knees into the chest. And to feel the difference, right? Now our back is fully contact with the floor. We're going to rock gently side to side here in a little Apana Asana. And then when you're ready, I want you to draw both feet to the floor and walk them mat distance apart. So your feet are wider than your hips. So your knees can rest on each other. See how this feels. And then from here, both knees are going to fall to the same side, whichever side you choose. A little IT band stretch. If there's pain in your knee, I want you to come up and just rest your knees together again. But if this is okay, you're going to go ahead and cactus your arms here as well.
And just breathe into the spots where you feel it the most. Deep breaths. Open heart. All right, everyone, from here, we're gonna lift the knees to the ceiling. Now let them fall to the opposite side. All right, lifting the knees back up to the ceiling. We're gonna draw our arms down by our sides. Walk the feet hip distance apart. And from here, we're going to do a little arm stretch and a little bit of compression in the arm to get the lymphatic fluid moving around. So almost like you were about to go to bridge. I want you to press into your feet and just lift your hips up a little bit off the ground so you can slide the left forearm underneath the small of your back with the palm facing down. And then go ahead and let those hips drop to the ground, right? So that you can feel that compression in your low back. And there's a forward rotation in that left shoulder. If this is too intense, you should not be here. You know that. You need to come out and just lay still with the arms by your side. So just breathing here into that left shoulder, into that left forearm. All right, guys. Press into the feet. Just give yourself a little bump up so you can slide your left arm out. Replace your tailbone on the mat. Take a breath. Perfect. Let's do the other arm. Lift the hips. Slide the right forearm underneath the small of your back, palm face down, and release your hips on top, or your hips to the ground rather. So you can feel a gentle compression in your forearm from your back body. Right? If you are feeling any twinge of pain anywhere on that right arm, you need to come out, whether it's the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder. This should feel pretty good, and if it doesn't, come out. Press into the feet, gently lift the hips, slide the right arm out, both palms face up. Pull both knees into the chest, wrap your hands around your shins or your thighs. All right, guys, we're gonna rock side to side, or if you prefer to make circles with your knees, you can do that too. Whatever feels best. And then from there, you're just gonna tune into yourself again and ask, is there anything else I need that I didn't get, that my body, not my ego, but my body really feels like it still needs to do? If you have any favorite postures that you feel inclined to, go ahead and do those now. And while you're finishing up, I will guide you through Shavasana. So if you don't have a pose you want to do, go right ahead and find your perfect Shavasana, whether it's legs out stretched, legs up the wall, knees together, finding that spot where you can completely let go. And as you're situating yourself, I will come a little closer and get you guided into relaxation. Okay, so you should be situated by now. Getting all your last little fidgets out. All right, feel the support of the floor underneath you. I want you to scan your body here as you're laying on your mat. And just notice. What are the physical sensations you're feeling from head to toe? Pay special attention to your heart, your shoulders, your arms, the rib cage, and just see, does it feel more open, more flexible, or does it still feel pretty tight? No right or wrong answer. I just want you to check to see how you're feeling. And then once you scan for your signs of tension, I want you to feel your whole body be melting, almost like you turn into a puddle of pudding here. There's no effort in your body whatsoever. Right? You're just soaking in all the benefits from your physical practice. Now you can just completely relax. As you're relaxing, we'll just go through a little visualization. To bring your awareness to your heart center, just like we did in the beginning of class. This time I want you to see a rose-colored light at your heart. A light of compassion and love and complete acceptance. To feel the intensity of this love kind of radiating at your heart center. And wherever this light is, you feel those effects. So start to feel that pink light get larger and larger. So moving further from your heart out toward the sides of your body by your armpits and your collarbones and your belly button. Your whole torso is melted in this loving light. And spread it even further now. Wider and wider until your whole body is covered in this rose light. And you feel so calm and so at peace. You know that you can tap into your own self-compassion and calmness. See the light continue to get larger and larger. Now it's covering your whole house. And it keeps going to your neighbors' houses and to your whole town. And in your mind's eye, see that light spreading out over the county, over your state, until it's moving so rapidly fast, it covers the entire world. You know you have enough love for yourself and for others, for the planet. Just rest here for a few minutes. continue relaxing here, I'm just going to read to you a passage from Journey to the Heart. And it's called Send Love Letters. Sending love letters to people we care about is a rewarding experience, both for us and for them. Making the time to take pen in hand and express our thoughts is valuable. But there's another way to send love letters too. This way takes as much time and attention as writing a loving note does, but it doesn't require a pen and paper. It requires concentrated thought. There's an invisible thread of energy winding through the universe, one that connects us all. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you can tell if someone's angry or upset with you, even if you haven't seen or talked to this person? You can feel his or her anger, even if you haven't been physically present to experience it. Thoughts have power, particularly those charged with intense emotional energy. When we think mean, bitter thoughts, it can be like sending hate mail along our connecting wires. It can almost be a sensory attack. Why not send loving thoughts charged with positive emotional energy? We can consciously choose to use our connections to others to send love. Send positive thoughts, blessings, peace, assistance in times of crisis. We can send our thoughts in the form of a prayer, or we can simply think a blessing or positive thought, charge it with energy, and send it along the wires with love. When someone you know or love comes to mind, or even someone you don't, perhaps someone in another part of the country or the world, perhaps someone going through a particular crisis, and you're not certain what to do, send a love letter. Your loving thoughts will touch them, and your blessings will all come back to you. So if you need a longer Shavasana, please by all means stay and rest a little longer. But if you're ready to come out, notice your senses, right? Maybe everything but your sight. Smelling a little deeper. Gently moving fingers and toes, feeling the floor underneath you. Hearing the sounds around you. Maybe even swallowing. Take the time you need to start wiggling, fingers, toes, etc., until you feel ready enough to bend your knees and roll over to one side. Go ahead and take a few breaths here on this side. With your neck relaxed, go ahead and press the top hand into the floor to come up to sit. And then once you're ready and you're up to sit, we'll take our hands in Anjali Mudra, just like we did at the beginning of class. Thumbs at sternum. I want you to bow to your own divine light, right? We can acknowledge our light, we automatically acknowledge others. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.